Welcome to CBN Live, your ultimate weekly show for cybersecurity. We're here to empower your business to safeguard profits, protect customers, and preserve your reputation by expertly managing ever-evolving cyber threats. Presented by EK3 Technologies, keeping business cyber strong. And now, please welcome your host, Florida's award-winning authority on cybersecurity and cyber risk mitigation and management, the owner of EK3 Technologies, Earl.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to CBN Live. I appreciate you having me here, or having you here today. Once again, we're in the backyard. It's nice out. I got out from underneath this here magnolia tree where yesterday we had or last week we had the incident with the ant. Apparently, if you stand under the magnolia tree for long enough, ants fall on your head. And so I actually, after filming that last week, I had to pick off 5 ants. One was on my head, one was on my shoulder. So we'll see how this goes. I'm out from underneath the tree, but you still get a beautiful view of the tree. So again, I digress. Welcome to CBN Live. My name is Earl. I'm the owner of EK3 Technologies. We are live today on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. We are not live on LinkedIn because LinkedIn broke something and they're trying to, I guess, fix it. So StreamYard is trying to fix it, which is the app that I use. Today on CBN Live, we're going to talk about two-factor authentication and why that is very important. And I talk about two-factor authentication a lot, and it comes up in just about every conversation we had. And the reason is it's very important. It's a second set of keys for your digital fortress. And a lot of people think, well, it's a pain in the behind. I don't like to use it. So we're going to talk about why you should be using two-factor authentication for everything. Specifically, if you're using Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you should have two-factor authentication on. The number of people that I see who call or who post, and everyone's seen it, don't request any friend requests from me. My Facebook's been hacked, or whatever. That can be stopped, and the way to stop that is two-factor authentication. So again, I got my handy-dandy notes on paper because we're out here just talking. And so we're going to get started. So what is two-factor authentication? Well, two-factor authentication is a second set of keys. So it means a second factor. So if you just have a password to log in to maybe your bank or Facebook or any sort of system that you're logging into specifically, and usually it's into some sort of SaaS, or what we call a software as a service-based system. If you just have a password, that's a one-factor authentication. Two-factor gives you, and we've all seen it, gives you a code, maybe it texts you, maybe it emails you a code, and that's a second factor in order to get in. So if somebody is able to look up your password, which a lot of people already have because of data breaches, etc., the two-factor is something individual that is sent to you, that is sent to you right then, and it's based on an algorithm, and it allows you to put in a second factor, not just your password, to double secure your digital fortress. Now, it's almost like a second set of keys, right? So let's say that you had a first set of keys, and then you had a deadbolt set of keys, right? So some people do have, in their house, they have a lock, and then some people have a separate key for the deadbolt. Just because you can have two separate locks. Exactly what two-factor authentication is. It's two set of keys into your digital fortress. We've got two types of two-factor authentication. The one used the most is through email. You've seen that where you log into somewhere and the email code, then it sends you a code. You have to put the code in, and you're able to move forward after that. I will tell you that's not very secure, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. You have options such as an authenticator app. You may have SMS codes. You may have a hardware token, or you may have like a fingerprint. So or biometrics. So your phone, for example, may have a fingerprint scanner on it. Your iPhone may look at your face. It measures biometrics on your face. And all of these are things that are two-factor authentication. So SMS codes, that is a text message that you get, right? The text message says, this is your code, put the code into the system. And then authenticator apps. So you may have the Google Authenticator and you may have the Microsoft Authenticator, and those will be, give you a code that's on your app. And you may also have seen, this is not so much anymore, but we used to have a key that you would carry around. It's called like an RSA key, and that key would have a code on it, and that code would be your two-factor authentication, and it was on that code. Maybe it was on your key ring or what have you. So why is two-factor authentication important? Now, I've already said it's important because it provides a second set of keys, but it highlights the importance of protecting your personal information, right? So you having a two-factor authentication on your phone, or excuse me, on your digital fortress, means that not only can someone log in, but it also means that those people are allowed, that they can, so those people can log in, but it also means that you have a second set of keys in order to log in. So you'll get a notification that someone has tried to log in to your system. Okay. And now I told you I would tell you why that was important. And one of the reasons that's important is we had a client who had two-factor authentication set up, but he had two-factor authentication set up to his email. And there was a business email compromise, and he did not have two-factor authentication set up on his email. But when he logged into his payroll, he did have two-factor authentication on that, and the payroll company would send a two-factor authentication code to his payroll, or to his email. So while he had two-factor authentication on his payroll, because it was going to his email, and that's where the compromise was, then they were able to get into his payroll. So I never ever recommend that you do two-factor authentication to your email. Do it to your phone or an authenticator app. Another thing that comes up is whether or not, we do get this all the time, especially with email, right? So we want you to have a two-factor authentication app on your phone just to get the code. And the question always comes up, well, this is my phone and it's work, and I don't want work things on my phone. So the app literally, the only thing it does is it allows for the code. It's just figuring out the algorithm for the code. It's not doing anything other than that. Now, if you don't bring your phone to work, then you're not going to be able to get the code. And there are other authentications apps you can download, like Okta, etc., and they can be on your computer. Again, not recommended, because it's recommended to be in a separate area, but that is an option as well. So if you have Google, Microsoft, Facebook, go into your profile there, and there is an option to set up two-factor authentication. If you go to EK3 Tech's YouTube library, there is a video on how to set it up in Facebook. I have done a video because of the number of people who have asked me about it. So go in there and you'll be able to see how to set that up. Microsoft, it's under your profile where you would go change your password, and Google, it's under your profile where you would change your password. So using an authenticator app, like the Google Authenticator, Authy, or a Microsoft Authenticator instead of an SMS is a lot quicker, because you're already going to have the code there. SMS may take some time to deliver, and you may not always have internet signal. There could be some kind of, I've had it where the code didn't come through because there was a problem, etc. So using an app is a lot quicker to do that. So there are some, it's also much safer. And so having that sent to you is better. So some common misconceptions about two-factor authentication, and I don't want to hold you too long today, but some common misconceptions are that it's too complicated to set up, that it's a pain in the behind, and I just don't want to do it. It is another step, and I get that. In Microsoft and in Google, you can set it up so that only two-factor authentications on your computer one time in 60 days. So if you set that up, then you are protected and you don't have to do it again for 60 days. And the same thing, I believe, happens in Apple, but it's not that time consuming. It's not that complicated to set up, and it's just an extra layer of protection for you. And again, I've given you an example of how two-factor authentication can protect you and harm you depending on how you have it set up. So if you have it set up to go to your email, you can actually think you have security and you don't really. So make sure that you have it going to SMS or to an app or something like that. So I would discuss it in your office. I would discuss how you guys have SMS set up. You have an IT provider. Talk with them. Discuss with them how you can get two-factor authentication set up on everything that you have. And if you have a SaaS provider, so you have some sort of application that you're using and it uses SaaS, ask them if two-factor authentication is on, and if not, how do you do it? So until next time, I'll be right here every Thursday at 10:30. I appreciate you. Everyone stay safe and stay cyber strong.